What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at Data Dash, and today is October 20th of 2021. Well, folks, I hope you are having a fantastic day wherever you are. And in today's video, I want to talk about not getting caught 2 steps behind. As many of you are probably feeling right now with Bitcoin's recent surge, especially if you're allocated to altcoins, you might be feeling a sense of FOMO in this case to rotate your portfolio into Bitcoin and not miss the wave. And albeit I don't want to shoot out entirely the idea that Bitcoin could be in for further leap higher, I want to talk about why I'm currently still holding to my convictions on my altcoin positions, not just simply because I'm biased. I can go rotate my capital today. I'm not that big of a whale. But to be honest, I want to spend some time to talk about the importance and factor of not getting caught 2 steps behind, something that we have to talk about from time to time here on the channel, and is something that too many of us, including myself in the past, are guilty of in crypto. Right? So let's go ahead and dive into it, guys. Now, I understand a lot of people right now with the resilience and strength that Bitcoin has had since back here in July, not only more than doubling in price for that matter over the past couple of months, but revisiting back to the previous all-time high range back here in the lower $60,000 range, pressing towards the previous all-time highs of 65K. There's been a lot of strength in Bitcoin. And generally speaking, what people are continuously talking about is something that we need to be made aware of, which is that this is likely not going to be a double top. We might face some resistance here initially, pull back maybe down here to 60K, and then retest and break through. We might go straight through and just start climbing higher, but either way, we're probably going to be entering into what's known as price discovery. This basically means we are chartering into new territory for Bitcoin. Bitcoin has revisited its all-time highs, and hopefully day by day on average, we're going to be setting a new all-time highs. Now, that's great for Bitcoin in this case, and I think it's phenomenal. Again, we've called in this case, and we'll talk about it in a minute, for the idea that by the end of the cycle, albeit we do expect it's going to take longer than most people say, we do believe 150K, 200K is easily in the cards for this cycle. It puts Bitcoin roughly around a $3 to $4 trillion market cap, something entirely doable for this cycle. Might sound like a lot, but it's entirely doable. Now, coming to that realization though, and talking about that, I want to go back and talk a little bit about a tweet in this case that I put out that kind of highlights these topics. So if you guys don't follow me already and you guys want to see these little bite-sized bits of information that I put out outside of the videos, you guys can follow me at Nicholas_Merton. I try to tweet as much as I can on there. And, we've got a good community of people engaging in their replies and providing feedback. But generally speaking, what we talked about in this tweet thread is just a simple 3-piece tweet thread. We talked about the altcoin dominance chart that we've talked about on the channel before, and how we stand on the conviction in this case that we're going to be seeing altcoin dominance hold on this previous line of resistance, which again has already proven a support roughly back here, back in June and July of 2021. I think we're going for a secondary retest of it. And until we see a significant breakdown below that line, I'm not too sure I want to start rotating my positions and getting potentially caught 2 steps behind. Now, we also talk about a lot of other things as well. We talk about the idea that we think the cycle is going to take longer than most are talking about. And this, by being longer and expecting another May-styled correction, this is something I truly believe is going to happen. We're going to see another May-style correction with, yet again, too many people being over-leveraged, expecting things too quick. And this is what's going to prevent us from reaching that all-time high so soon, right? We're going to have the framework here to see entire crypto market cap up towards $10 trillion. And outside of that as well, see Bitcoin's price go to odds 150,000 to 200,000, and Ethereum possibly rising as far as 15 to 20K in this cycle during the really parabolic phases. I know it sounds crazy, but it's not as crazy if you consider the fact that we're not calling for all this to happen in February, March, April of 2022. We're calling for late 2022 for Bitcoin's top and altcoins to have their top in February to March of 2023. A long way to go in this case versus what the other people are saying in the space. Now, again, as we dive into the chart here, this is the live altcoin dominance chart with our general line of resistance potentially acting as new support. Now, again, the key point I want to talk about here is I'm not saying that I'm gung-ho and saying that this support level, this dotted line here that's ascending over time is going to hold. dominance could easily break through. And to be honest with you all, there's a very key level that I'd watch for where I would start to rotate my positions, or at least be on edge where I would start to average back into Bitcoin. And that is below this 51% mark here, 51.5% mark, which was previous resistance support here. And once it was broken here last time during a bear market, not during a bull market, mind you, we saw altcoin dominance drop from 50% down to 37%. That's where I would consider in this case that you're not really getting caught 2 steps behind. But if we hold on here, in this case, to the support line and start to rebound, we don't want to rotate from altcoins to Bitcoin. We'd want to maintain our positions. And possibly, if anything, if we can see in this case a key range of support, consider rotating back into altcoins. But it's not something, again, that I would FOMO or FUD either way in this case. And I want to keep it non-biased, similar to how we didn't rotate from altcoins here, because we were generally expecting we'd see a breakthrough here, right? So again, it's a range at this point where whether you're in altcoins or Bitcoin, you don't have to fester too much. But God, where am I positioned? Am I in position the right way? But the reason I would favor altcoins in this case, if you're like me, you trade the broader cycle, we're expecting that we're going to see new highs of altcoin dominance around 75%. It's generally expected in every cycle you're going to see higher ranges of altcoin dominance than the previous one because of the fact that there's new coins being made, new opportunities being crafted in the space, and second off, it's just generally going to be over time if you can make a variety of different altcoins in the space, as well as other players like Ethereum and other layer ones that are actually starting to find their use cases and value propositions, they are going to hold more dominance of the market. And that's okay. Bitcoin can still be the largest crypto if it only owns 10, 20% of the market, right? So we're calling in this case for an increase effectively, right? An effective increase of nearly 42% from where we are now to where we're expecting to go into 2023. Considering the dilution by new coins minted in the space and created, that's still a great amount of value growth opportunity, especially if we're considering that possibly in that window of time, there'll be a lot of small mid-cap plays to take off. Now, let's go ahead and actually take a look at a variety of charts here. All right, I wouldn't make the conviction here that altcoins have a real chance to rebound unless we're at a good discount zone in this case, or at previous ranges where we usually see buyers come in, right? I want to be non-biased, guys. Again, I understand I'm in altcoin positions, but there's no reason for me to not rotate if I'm really not concerned about it. That's one thing I don't like hearing in the space. I'm not a whale where I'm locked into any of these altcoins. These are all liquid plays, like the plays like Uni and ETH and a lot of other plays I have. I can easily go switch that to Bitcoin and pay a small fee to the exchange. That's the one thing, again, I always recommend, once you get to that point, guys, where you don't hold too much bias in this case. I think everyone has a little bit of inherent, but you get to that point where you're like, look, I'd much rather beat out the market, right? Now, one chart I will say in this case that has started to point a little bit of concern for me personally is generally Ethereum's chart right now. And as we can see here, Ethereum on the logarithmic chart has seen previous resistance back here since all the way towards July of 2019. All right, we have this general line of resistance that we broke through and started to make support. We've started to push a little bit below this range here. And I would say that if we don't hold ETH at 0.06 over the next week or so, we're taking a look at the 2-week chart, right? If this starts to really go substantially below this level towards 0.059 BTC or 0.058, this is a range where we really might be seeing Bitcoin start to exacerbate the broader altcoin space. And I would say the next plausible area that ETH could go to is 0.045 BTC, right? That's the next previous resistance range that might become new support. And it's also been a substantial level back here, and back here, right? This general range here is where ETH has come back to during corrections. But again, no substantial breakaway just yet. And again, it really depends on perspective. This is the logarithmic chart, which we've been looking at. If you look at it in the standard chart as well, right, you still get this midpoint here in the cycle where there's generally resistance, right, that also acts as support before continued rallies. We can see here that we're still zigzagging generally in a range here that hasn't come down to this line on the standard chart. Again, I don't want to be biased. We've been looking at it in the logarithmic. It's why I showed it first in this manner. But we've got to see how things play out here. Again, we don't want to get caught 2 steps behind here and absolutely cycle out of our positions. Now let's take a look here at some other plays here. ADA, BTC. Now you guys know, I gotta be honest, in this cycle, I didn't stand too tall in regards to making a big bet on Cardano. Again, I'm a big believer in the fact that I've got to be able to use something on the protocol, especially these layer ones, if I really want to make a sizable position. But I've never been opposed per se to Cardano, right? Well, since back here during the layer one euphoria back in late August for layer one protocols, we've been in a multi-week sell-off against Bitcoin. Right? Generally speaking, if you want to take a look at the percentage decline from top to bottom here, a nearly 50% correction. We're basically coming here, hopefully, over this next week towards a clean 50% correction, previous support range here, previous resistance in the past, right? Significant price range, 50% haircut. That's what investors like to look for. They like to look for discount opportunities. We're not promoting altcoins at FOMO all-time highs. We're saying that down here against Bitcoin, you know, honestly, if you're smart money in this case or a larger investor, usually 50% discounts are what you look for. It's not saying that it's going to be where buyers come in, but that's generally the kind of discount range that larger buyers like to look for that can really lead to substantial moves in the market, right? Let's go ahead and take a look at ADA USD, right? Back here from May here to July, 58, 59%, roughly right under 60% correction here for ADA's price. Right. Now, as you move through the cycle, what you're generally going to experience, and this isn't always the case, but you're generally going to see here that not only when price comes down here to like 30, 40, 50%, right, you want to be a little less greedy and not expect the price is going to always go down as lower as it was before. And the reason for this is because that buyers, who, especially smart money in this case, larger investors who are going to actually set in bottoms and drive prices higher, they're looking out against other whales and other players, and they're going to be looking to buy in at a lower discount in this case, albeit maybe 40, 45%, 50% versus the previous discount. They're not going to wait towards 58.65% down returns. They're going to buy in earlier than that. So ADA currently right now is only down 31%, right? I'm not trying to exaggerate the losses here. It went down towards level 38% here. But one of the theses that I want to propose is that resting on previous levels of resistance here and also coming down and testing this general range of previous support, it might be that ADA will come down at a 40% discount in this range. So about 30% lower, 30 cents lower almost from where we are now. And then after that, start to rebound higher, right? That'd be great in this case if you could get ADA in this case at that discount range, right? And again, as I've said before in this case, put against the arguments and stuff, guys, overall as a trader, I like these setups, right? I like seeing that we've come down. I'm not, again, buying Cardano when it's overextended against ETH, but it's come back down to this previous resistance range to potentially set it as support and set in a third higher low from what we had back here in April and May, as well as here in August, right, before we kicked off another really great rally in Cardano. Could it be that we're building a wedge here for a further breakout? Possibly, right? Lower highs, higher lows, coiling in price here, maybe third time's a charm here and we break out, right? We're on the low range here, right? Again, if you see a breakthrough on this line, I wouldn't touch ADA with a 10-foot pole. We sent this out actually to a newsletter subscriber in our discussion group. You know, basically that's my take on it. And if we break through down here, maybe towards 4,700, all right, you can see here on the ratio, then that would be a cause for concern, right? But right now we're here towards the low range. Is this really the time to risk it all, rotate in this case, realize probably capital gains, and then lo and behold, you have a big tax obligation if you're in the US or a variety of other Western countries. And outside of that as well, you're holding an asset that starts to underperform the previous one you're already owning. So that's the thing, again, that I want to emphasize. The last couple ones I want to take a look at, Solana, BTC, right? Now, again, to be completely transparent with you guys, I don't own any Solana. I don't own any Cardano, right? So again, we're taking a look at other plays here that make up a large amount of altcoin dominance and are plays here outside of Bitcoin that might potentially outpace Bitcoin, right? We can see here, right? Back here from back in May, towards the altcoin peak, to July, 70 days of correction, about 50% downturn in the market before we really kicked off the next uptrend. And look at that, another 50%, almost near 50% correction. We're right around 47 to 48%. Wouldn't it be great if we came over here in the next couple of days, right? We don't really know the time range, and came down and tested this previous range of support and saw buyers coming in at 50% discount against Bitcoin. gotta say to you guys, that's the kind of stuff I like to look for. I don't want to buy something in this case that everyone's buzzing about. I want to know what's the next trend shift in this case in the market. And that's where you can really start to outpace the broader crypto sector, right? But again, overall with Solana and stuff, we not only didn't want people to FOMO at the highs, we'd much rather people focusing in on adding in a rational sense if they find that it's a decent discount range. Last one we'll talk about is BNB. Taking a look at the logarithmic chart here, we can see previous points of resistance playing in tandem as a new range of support for BNB to move higher back here from March into May. And now the correction since then has kept BNB against BTC at a relatively low level back towards these lows in May during the correction. And look at that, we might be coming down to make this level, yet again, support here, right, to solidify that. And if we can hold that and we bounce off, start to showcase the early signs of an upturn, that might be a good position as well. But again, with all these things, we're keeping in mind the idea here that if we do start to close below these ranges of support, right, if Solana really can't hold this support range and starts to climb down lower, ADA breaks down below this support line, right, ADA doesn't hold on its BTC pair, ETH starts to really separate again from any potential support range on previous resistance. Yeah, that's going to generally reflect here if we break through the 51.5% mark on altcoin dominance. You'll see it there in the overall metric or on these individual charts, right? But a lot of these on their dollar setup are really setting up technical patterns that we've seen time and time again. BNB showing a very similar pattern to Ethereum on the dollar chart. Higher lows, consistent resistance range, coiling in this ascending triangle, right, that we've seen before, and albeit we've seen in the past here back during a bear market, which doesn't favor in this case because the trend is generally negative, right? But during bull markets, like we saw back here in 2020, saw the same exact pattern follow through soon after in this case, right? We saw the same thing here for ETH USD, right? Go ahead and pull up the chart here. I'll get it on the time frame so you guys can see it. I have a lot of drawings. Sorry, just realized I hit the button in this case that would switch it over. So this is it here, right? Higher lows, consistent resistance range, right? We've seen this kind of stuff before. We saw it back here, higher lows, consistent resistance range, pop up, start off of the next cycle, right? This is what we want to watch for, guys. We don't want to get caught 2 steps behind. This channel, I have to say, even though we don't get everything right, guys, we have our good days and our bad days. I think everyone does. And if someone's not willing to admit that and they claim to be perfect or say, we made this one trade that was great, or you have to watch this thing that's happening in the market right now, that's probably not the kind of content you should be watching. Nor would I trust anyone who said that they don't make mistakes. But the one thing that I can guarantee you guys we will not do here is we will not emotionally trade. We will not FOMO or FUD out of things. We will approach things with as much rationale as possible. Doesn't mean we're always going to get things right or we're putting ourselves on a pedestal against others. But we want to make sure we have a set of standards here. One of the biggest principles that I've talked about here on this channel is this simple concept of not getting caught 2 steps behind. Because we can get so much, in a sense, caught under tunnel vision that we lose sight of the broader picture. And the broader picture is this. We expect altcoin dominance to continue making higher levels. It is not going to be a lower level than what we set in the last cycle. I'm just going to tell you guys that straight. I'm going to make that, I'll put my name on in this case. That is not going to happen in this cycle. It just does not make logical sense in the market. The excitement around Bitcoin is nowhere near all the new sectors of DeFi, etc. All the new layer 1 flashy protocols out there. No matter if you agree with the fundamentals or not, it's just not going to happen this time around. And we do expect that this cycle, like practically everyone in the space who's active, knows that the cycle's not over, right? So if you're a longer term participant, ride the wave. And you probably, if you can select your winners in this case, you're going to have altcoins that are going to generally outpace Bitcoin. Simple equation to think about in this case, or simple kind of, in a sense, I'm losing track of my words I want to use. But basically, it's a simple, just kind of mental, experiment or thought in this case to think about, right? That generally speaking, if you're going throughout this cycle, altcoins are going to continue to garner dominance here. See about a 42% increase possibly towards these highs. right? It doesn't have to be that much, could be more, could be less, but I think that we haven't seen the highs just yet. So you're either going to keep up with Bitcoin if you're holding the right plays, or you're going to outpace Bitcoin. All right. So again, unless you're in like the illiquid small cap cryptocurrencies, or you're in like some really speculative plays that might rug pull or scam or something like that, you should be in pretty good hands, right? And that's why, again, we're positioned where we're at. But if we do see that break of that support line, you guys will hear it first in the channel if I make any rotation, all right? So that being said, everyone, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all in the next one.